ask you something a little bit personal. If you're in your 50s like me, I bet there's something in your house right now, a box, a shelf, a drawer that you've kept for years and never actually used. Something you can't quite bring yourself to throw out, even though you haven't touched it in a very long time. Because I think the things we keep but never use are quietly pointing at a life we still want to live. And today, I want to talk about how we actually get to it. Hi, I'm Linda, and welcome to More Time to Be. On this channel, I talk about making the most of your healthy years, the travel, the big decisions, the things we keep putting off, and what happens when we finally stop waiting. And today, I want to talk about my packing boxes. When we moved house, and we've moved a couple of times over the years, there were always these boxes that came with us. Craft supplies, sewing fabric, card making materials, painting supplies. Every move, I'd pack them up carefully, label them, stack them in the new house, usually in a spare room or a cupboard, and tell myself that this time I'd actually get to them. And every time, life got busy again. The business, the kids, the endless list of things that needed doing before I could get to the things I actually wanted to do. Those boxes are still there. Right now, as I'm recording this, they're sitting in the corner of my bedroom, waiting. I've been thinking about what those boxes actually represent, and they're not just craft supplies. I think they're evidence of who I always intended to be, alongside everything else I was busy being. The person who sews, who paints, who makes beautiful cards for people she loves, who has time to be creative and unhurried and make things with her hands. I kept those boxes through every move, not because I needed the contents. I could have replaced them easily enough. I kept them because getting rid of them felt like giving up on that version of myself, and I wasn't ready to do that. I think most of us have a version of the packing boxes. Maybe yours isn't craft supplies. Maybe it's a musical instrument that you haven't played in years, a language course you started and stopped, a pile of books you're going to read when things settle down, a set of golf clubs, a sewing machine, a journal you bought with the best intentions. Whatever it is, you've kept it, and the fact that you've kept it tells you something. It tells you that part of you still believes you're going to get to it. The question I think is worth asking is this: what am I actually waiting for? Not in a guilty way, just genuinely what needs to happen before I give myself permission to open the boxes. For me, the honest answer is nothing needs to happen. The business has wound down, the kids are grown, I have more time now than I've had in years. And yet the boxes are still sitting in the corner of the room. So I had to ask myself, what's actually stopping me? And when I really looked at it, I found something a bit embarrassing. I haven't opened them because I don't have the perfect place to put everything yet. We finished a renovation not long ago, and I haven't worked out exactly where all this stuff should live. And because I can't set it all up perfectly, the ideal creative space, everything organized and accessible, I haven't done anything at all. I can't do it in one perfect step, so I don't do it. There's a name for this, and I call it the all or nothing trap. It's one of the ideas at the center of a book I've been writing, which I'll share more about soon. And here I am, living it in my own bedroom. The trap isn't laziness. It's perfectionism dressed up as practicality. I'm not avoiding the boxes because I don't care about them. I'm avoiding them because I care too much, and I don't want to do it half-heartedly. But half-heartedly in this case means opening a box without having a perfect shelf to put things on, which, when I say it out loud, is a bit silly. And here's the belief I think is worth shifting, that if you can't do something properly, there's no point doing it at all. That one keeps more good lives small than almost anything else I can think of, because actually the opposite is true. A small, imperfect start beats a perfect plan you never begin. So here's the approach I'm using, and it's one you can borrow for whatever your version of the boxes is. Instead of waiting for the perfect setup, you find the smallest possible version of the thing and do just that. Not the whole project, not the ideal conditions, just one box, or even one thing in the box. The single step that's small enough that none of your excuses can survive it. So here's what I committed to opening one box. Not all of them, not set up a whole creative space, just one box. When I actually did it, I found some old dried up paint tubes and half-finished projects that I know I'm not going to finish. The time for those has passed. So I threw them out and kept only some brushes and mixing pots that I can use again. There are still more boxes, but it's progress. I've also decided to add a storage unit to my bedroom. It's not the ideal place. The ideal place would be the spare bedroom, which my daughter has firmly claimed as her study. But not ideal is exactly the point, isn't it? Not ideal is what I've been waiting to get past for 10 years. I can buy a cheap second-hand wooden unit and restore it myself as a project, ticking another thing off my later list. Because the smaller version of this, the imperfect, incomplete, one-box version, is still infinitely better than leaving them sealed in the corner of the room for another year. And honestly, it took about 20 minutes. 20 minutes after all those years. I sat there afterwards feeling a bit silly, but also a bit lighter. So I'd really love to know, what's your version of the boxes? The thing you're not doing because you can't do it perfectly yet. Tell me in the comments. Naming it is honestly half the battle, and I'd love to know what matters most to you. Because I think this trap catches the most capable, responsible people the hardest. The ones who, when they do something, want to do it properly. These things are not just clutter. They're a map of the life we still want to live. It's time to follow that map, even imperfectly. There's a link in the description to a free one-box challenge. It's a simple exercise to look honestly at what you're keeping, why you haven't started, and how to take one small step this week. In my next video, I want to talk about something that changed how I think about all of this. We plan so carefully for the money side of retirement, the savings, the retirement funds, the spreadsheets. But there's a second asset almost nobody plans for. And unlike money, you can't earn more of it, you can't save it up. And once it's gone, it doesn't come back. I'll tell you what it is and the 3 moments that made it suddenly uncomfortably real for me. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.